in my opinion, are the best. That's Around Town Movers. Call them.
Your auto love and investment demands the best, and for 45 years, Passport Transport has been meeting those demands. From manufacturers to the one-car collectors and all other facets of the auto industry and antique auto hobby. The first and the finest.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're having just too much fun on this awesome day here on America's Web Radio. So if you hear me laughing or if you're watching the video, you'll see me laughing just because, you know, things are a lot of fun in studio. You guys just, you hear my voice and you hear the other host on here. But one day we might do a little video of what goes on behind the scenes here because it can be quite, the IT guy's looking at me going, no. So... welcome to the show. I'm so happy you guys are listening, and as always, I can't wait to get back in this seat to talk to you guys. You are tuned into the On Point with Victor show, by the way, and I am Victor Armendariz. That's Armendariz, and I do not mind if you try and pronounce my name with an accent, just like, unlike, I should say, some of the media out there and some of the leftists out there who get mad when other radio hosts, and myself included, use the accent when we talk about some of the other, some of the people out there in Congress who might have a Hispanic last name or some other nationality that requires an accent. Look, folks, you've heard me say it before. There are certain people that I just do not like to give fodder to on the air because they're getting too much coverage, and we're lifting them up. But there are just some times when the events of the day warrant me talking about some of the things that I don't want to talk about. Let's just put it that way. And this is one of those days. I had some really neat things I wanted to talk about today. Had a show planned, but with the events that happened Friday, the events that happened yesterday, I have to talk about this. I'm already getting requests on what's my point of view, what's the on point with Victor common sense and logical analysis of what transpired. And for those of you that been hiding, or maybe you were just busy this weekend, and look, I hope you were so busy this weekend and having such a good time that you just turned off the news, because it's just downright depressing sometimes. But if you weren't, then you probably heard, or if you were paying attention, you've probably heard about the tweet that Trump put out that started a firestorm of accusations of racist. The first thing, folks, I mean, listen, you guys that listen to me every week, you know where I'm coming from. I come from common sense, from logic, liberty, freedom, Constitution, law-abiding citizenship. This is where I come from. I don't care about the letter D. I don't care about the letter R. I don't care about the establishment in Washington and how right they think they are, because we as people have to come together and start looking at policy. We as people have to make judgments based on the reality of policy, not the emotional words that are being thrown out on a daily basis. If you're making your judgment on emotions, then you're probably making a bad decision. That's just some advice that I can give you that you can use in your everyday life, not just in politics. I'm talking every aspect of your life. So I wanted to come in with some awesome positivity, but I'm gonna have to start the show here with talking about what transpired over the last few days, and then we'll see if I can end the show on a positive note, like I always try and do. But let's move forward. Let's time will fly by, so we're gonna jump right into this. So at the top of the On Point with Victor topic rundown, and let's face it, probably the only topic we're going to get to today, is Cortez and the Omar bunch, or the socialist quartet, if you will. or they can be called the Payne and Pelosi's Backside Quartet. Folks, understand, there is a huge division and fight going on in the Democrat Party. And the media is trying to hide this from you. And what transpired this weekend was, once again, I am going to tell you right now, if you're one of those people out there that's mad because you think Trump said something bad, you think Trump stepped in it, you think, oh, there goes Trump tweeting and blah, 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 then you're not really stepping back and doing your own investigation, your own reading. You're just taking what you hear. You're taking bits and pieces of what you hear, and then you're just jumping all over Trump. What you need to do is step back and do what I'm going to do for you here today, is read the quote for yourself, which I'm going to read here for you, so don't worry. You're not going to have to do that. But what happens is the media will jump all over anything they can that's going to put the Trump administration in a bad light, anything they can to put America in a bad light. And this is the type of stuff that is going to happen to anything that's coming out right now. If you're a Trump supporter, or if you're a patriot and you're not afraid to show it, the media will put out anything they can to try and group you in as a racist, to try and badmouth America, or point out all these faults they say are America, and it's just getting downright frustrating. So when I tell you to understand that this so-called squad that they're calling themselves now, and I'm not sure who dubbed them that, but I do know that these 4 congresswomen are relishing in being called the squad. They're relishing in the immediate attention they're getting. And again, we have to talk about this, even though I really hate bringing it to light. But understand, this squad, these 4 congressmen, are a huge pain in the Democrat establishment's backside. And I'm setting this up right now and letting you know this, because this is not, you will not hear this from the media. There is a lot of infighting going on. From the media, you're just going to hear the Republicans are scattered around, and you've got the Trump side, you've got the establishment side, and you've got the Conservative Freedom Caucus, and the media is going to constantly try and tell you that they're fighting. Is the Republican Party perfect? Gosh, no. I mean, hell no. And we can get into that later. But what they're trying to do is convince you that there's nothing, that the Democrat side is united. And this is what's so funny about what transpired this weekend that I'm going to get to. But let me just get into this. So I've told you before that Donald Trump is a branding genius, and he really is. I mean, this is, whether you like the man or not, he's a branding genius. He knows how to brand his opponents, just as he knew how to brand products. He knew how to brand the Trump name, the hotels, everything aspect of his business. He knew how to brand. He's taken that experience and he's branding the Democrat Party. He knows how to brand his opposition. He also knows, and I've said this before, he knows how to play the media. Donald Trump can get the media to go off one topic and just jump into another topic all at once. I've never seen any other politician who's been able to do that, and Donald Trump can do it. And I kind of say it with half a smile that when I call Donald Trump a politician, excuse me, when I call him a politician, because Donald Trump's not a politician. That's what the beauty of this is. This is why he's so different. This is why the media is beside themselves, and this is why the Democrat Party is imploding. Because all right, I'm going to deviate a little bit again. What the Democrat Party of today, what they are used to, and what the media is used to, they're used to being able to destroy any Republican politician they want, and they can do it at will. They destroyed John McCain. They destroyed Romney. You name it. And they even destroyed George W. Bush. Now, granted, they took them 8 years to do it, but they did it. But they have become accustomed to being able to destroy whatever Republican politician they want to destroy. John Kasich, there's another one they destroyed. And look what they've turned into. Look what Romney has turned. Romney disgusts me so much and irritates me so much, and that I hope and pray the people of Utah throw him out on his derriere in 5 years, because unfortunately he's got a 6-year term that they put him into because they listened to all his BS and bought into it and elected the guy to the Senate. But you look back at, just look at some of the crap John Kasich's saying. I mean, but this is what the Democrat Party does. This is what they're used to. They're able to destroy these kind of Republicans, and these weak-kneed Republicans. They take the abuse, and then they run to the side of the Democrats or the socialists or the media so they can be liked again. They want to be liked by the media. And this incessant need to be liked by the media is just really, really blows me away. But that's what has happened. Well, all of that came to a screeching halt with Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump didn't come from the swamp. He didn't come from political background. He didn't come from the swamp that is Washington, or a swamp that is state politics, especially in New York, where he's from. No, he came from a business background. He knows how to deal with people, and he does it in a different way. And he's from New York. You know, there are a lot of New Yorkers. You push them, they're going to push back. You can even be nice, and they push back, thinking that I'm not sure if you were being nice, so I'm going to push back on you just in case you weren't being nice. That's New Yorkers. That's New York. That's Donald Trump. So now the media and the Democrats are beside themselves because all of the things that normally would knock out a Republican is having no effect on Trump. And Trump fights back. Trump calls them out. The Democrat Party has never been called out. The media has never been called out like they are being called out by Donald Trump. So I want to set that stage so you understand where I'm going with this. And which just brings me to what I'm saying earlier. Whether you like Trump or not, he knows how to capture the spotlight, and he knows how to make the media just go absolutely bonkers. He knows how to make the media go nuts. And by doing this, he sheds light on the truth of the Democrat Socialist Party. For years, the Democrats have hidden who they are. Go back, and I've told you this before, go back and listen to Barack Hussein Obama, President Obama, before he was president. Go back and listen when he was campaigning. And actually take the words and read them for yourself, and don't listen to him speak them, just read them. You wouldn't believe that he was a Democrat. He completely ran and tried to convince the country that he was center right. And it got him elected. And so what Donald Trump is doing, he's bringing light to the real Democrat of today, the real Socialist Party that is the Democrat Party today. So the veil is coming off. Donald Trump brings awareness to the social radical Democrats that the media has constantly been trying to hide. And what's even better is he gets the media to reveal these things that they're trying to hide. I mean, it really, really, really is hilarious. I mean, the media will try and whether it's the fake Russia investigation or it's some bad thing they said Trump said or his character, the media will try and get on that, and then Trump will bring it back together by sending out one tweet, and he'll bring them off and get them off at some point and get them on to another point. He plays them like a fiddle. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and take a break because I got a lot to get into here. So we're going to take the first break. We'll be right back. You hang on tight. You're listening to On Point with Victor on America's Web Radio.
Perhaps you are struggling to cope with the disease of addiction. If not, you probably know a family member or friend that needs help in battling the cravings and the personal and professional damage done by the effects of drugs or alcohol. Get a pen and paper and be ready to write down the following. These are the issues that the trained staff at the Atlanta Healing Center address and treat every day. Their doctors and counselors with over 40 years of practice in the field of addiction can treat the suffering individual in a thoughtful, compassionate, and experienced manner and guide him or her along the path to recovery. So call 770-696-9862 and speak to a knowledgeable staff member about how you or your loved one can be helped to enjoy a better and healthier life. More information is also available on the website at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
This is Ron Camacho, host of the Business Hour, on Fridays from 10 to 11 a.m. Join me as I talk with passionate professionals on a program that profiles the best businesses, business professionals, business practices, and fascinating individuals to get an insider view of how America works. 10 to 11 a.m. on America's Web Radio.
Your auto love and investment demands the best, and for 45 years, Passport Transport has been meeting those demands. From manufacturers to the one-car collectors and all other facets of the auto industry and antique auto hobby. The first and the finest with unequaled service and peace of mind. Passport Transport, your auto transportation company. Contact PassportTransport.com with your need today. Passport Transport.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Hey, we're back, folks. Like I said, quick break, so we can get back and get into this. You're tuned into On Point with Victor. This is America's Web Radio. Look, folks, if you want to see my crazy mug in action, go to America's Web Radio, our page on YouTube. Subscribe to it. That would help us out a great deal, and you can watch the show live, or you can go to Facebook and you can watch the show live there. And I don't mind you guys laughing at me because, I don't always look my best. Because, when I got into radio, it was because radio, you didn't have to worry about how you looked. So I try and dress a little better, though, because a couple of times I came in here and boy, did I get some comments. All right, guys, on with the show. So, look, I know there's a ton of you guys out there who are saying, "Come on, Victor, doesn't Trump understand when your enemy is taking care of themselves, when your enemy is self-destructing or opponent? I don't want to send anybody to a cry closet. I don't want to send anybody to a safe space. So let's say your opponent. When your opponent is self-destructing, you get out of the way. You don't say anything. You step back and you get out of the way, and you just let them go down in flames." And you're right. I'm not going to argue with that. That's true. That's for normal circumstances. When your opponent is self-destructing, you get out of the way and you let them do it. What Trump has a unique ability to do is not only let you self-destruct, he can, for lack of a better term, he can antagonize and help you self-destruct. But there's another reason that Trump did what he did, in my opinion, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I know a lot of you are out there. You're mad because you think that Trump's statement gave the media a whole new narrative to run with. He's a racist. He's this. He's that. And there's even people out there saying that Trump is uniting the Democrat Party, that he's pulling the Democrat Party together, and what an awful thing that is. Well, folks, just hold on to that little thought for a moment, because I'm going to get to that. Because those that are out there in the media saying what a dunce Trump is, those never Trumpers, especially you never Trumpers out there who just really chap my backside. You guys thought I was going to say something bad. No, I have good self-control. But you never Trumpers out there who you guys you really do get my blood boiling. And you're out there saying that, oh, what a dunce Trump is. See, we told you he's an idiot. He's going to unite the Democrat Party. You just stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you what he's doing and why it's absolute genius, and why Trump defeated the Clinton machine. Trump is defeating the Socialist Democrat machine. You never Trumpers didn't do it. You didn't even help. So I'll get to that in a few. So what's happening, and again, the media and the Democrats and never Trumpers are out there saying that Trump is uniting the Democrat Party. What a stupid thing to do as we head into 2020. Well, look, folks, I got to tell you, all the Gorilla Tape, duct tape, Elmer's glue, and super glue couldn't hold this socialist train together. What's happening in the Democrat Party, if we had an honest media, my goodness, they would overwhelmingly lose the House. They would lose more seats in the Senate, and Donald Trump would be elected with probably 70% plus of the popular vote and electoral college. This 2 days Democrat Party is on such a socialist track that it ought to frustrate any American, whether you consider yourself a Democrat or Republican or Libertarian or Independent, Constitutionalist. It ought to infuriate you where the Democrat Party is headed. You can disagree with policy, you can disagree with some ideas, but you cannot support a party that wants to fundamentally change the meaning of America. In order to support today's Democrat Party, you have to be for socialism. And I will go as far as say some of it is communistic, but much of it is socialist. You can't support that party and consider yourself a patriotic American. You just can't. I'm not saying you have to go vote Republican. I'm not saying you have to vote Libertarian. But what I am saying that if you're a true American and you love this country and you want to make it better, or you think you can make it better because you want to help people, or in your eyes, your definition of helping people is higher taxes, well, then go to the ballot box and let's have that discussion. But let's not take America down a socialist road. Let's not support people just because they have a letter D by their name, because these aren't Democrats in the form of John F. Kennedy. They're not even Democrats in the form of Bill Clinton. They're straight up socialists. So all right, let me get back to this, what I was telling you about. The Gorilla Tape, duct tape, all of this, strongest glue in the world is not going to hold the Democrat Party together. And what I mean is it cracks me up because a lot of you just can't seem to grasp what Trump is doing, and this is what I've been alluding to. But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, my good listeners, because On Point with Victor is going to explain it to you. So, all right, let's just go over a few of the facts, and this is facts. We have 4 radical Democrat socialist congresswomen, and they have now become known as the Squad. They're taking shots and have been taking shots at the establishment Democrat leadership. That would be, well, it used to be Pelosi, but that leadership role is changing, and it's changing really fast. Pelosi sits in the seat and she has the title, but these 4 Squad members of the radical left are starting to navigate this Democrat socialist train that I mentioned. So we have these 4. They are taking shots at Pelosi on almost a daily basis. They're taking shots at their members of their party. They take shots at Biden. And look, these are the 4 that are leading the way to tank Biden's campaign. And then Kamala Harris and Pocahontas and the fake Hispanic and the rest of them are all too happy to jump on board because, look, I told you before, Biden, they're going to take Biden out. But anyway, so make no mistake, these 4 have tons of followers. You know, Pelosi was out the other day saying, well, you know, you can say what you want to say, and she was saying this to the Squad members of the Congress. She was telling them, you can say what you want to say, but you don't have the votes. When you have votes, then you can come talk to me. Well, Pelosi's right about that. When it comes down to votes, these 4 congresswomen really mean nothing. But what Pelosi is trying to, with the help of the media, trying to cover up is the popularity of these 4 congresswomen. They have a ton of followers, and they have the ear. In fact, a poll was done just the other day. 74% of the people in this country know who Cortez is. That's, you know, folks, if you have a 74% name ID recognition, that's a politician's dream. The only person who may be higher than that is Donald Trump. But then you've got even Representative Omar. She has a 54% identity knowledge. The United States people know, 54% know who she is. Folks, these are 2 new congresswomen. No one who knew who they were 2 years ago. And now 74% of the population knows who Cortez is, 54% knows who Omar is. That's huge, and this is what Pelosi and the media don't want you to know. They don't want you to focus on that. So these are the four who are leading the battle against Pelosi, and they're against the Democrat establishment. So that's part of that big battle I was telling you that's going on that the media doesn't want you to know about. So now, in case you've been living under that rock I spoke of sooner, or you've just been taking refuge from the news, which I do not blame you from doing. A lot of times you need to just turn off the news and live your life. If the news is making you a negative person, then by God, all means, turn it off, because you need to drop negativity will really make life hard. So these four that I'm talking about, the four radicals, in case you're not familiar: Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and she's from Michigan. She's an elected congresswoman from Michigan, and Ayanna Pressley from Massachusetts. Those are the four that I'm talking about. Those are the four that have become known as the Squad. Those are the four poor little victims that poor mean old President Trump has the audacity to stand up to and push back when these four bash the United States. Look, folks, if I were your president, if I was sitting here as President Armendariz, if I was your president, I wouldn't sit back and let somebody bash the country that I swore to be loyal to, the country the only country that has a constitution like we do. If I was your president and I have swore to uphold that constitution, which the number one duty is to protect the sovereignty of the United States and its people, then you, by gosh, no, I wouldn't sit back and take it from a representative who's going to bash this country, especially one who was rescued by this country. And I'm talking about Omar. She's from Somalia, folks, and this country rescued her family when she was, I think, 9 years old. They had to flee Somalia. Why did they have to flee Somalia? Hey, maybe someone in the media should ask Omar why her family ran away from Somalia, which was under a dictator, oh gosh, I can't even get the words out, but an awful dictatorship. They fled that. They fled to Kenya, and then in Kenya they applied for asylumship, and they were awarded it and given it here in the United and allowed to come to the United States.
Somalia. All you have to think about is Black Hawk Down.
That's a great point. That is a great point from the station.
And look at the monkeys that were going all over the Black Hawk and what they did to our pilots.
Well, you bring up, if you haven't seen Black Hawk Down, then you really should watch that movie, because it is a good story of what showing a lot of American men who lost their lives going in to help Somalia people like Omar's family. So you're absolutely right. So if you haven't seen that, go see that. Go see that movie. But let me get back to this. So what started this whole mess was when Trump tweeted that he tweeted a reply to Omar, because Omar and Cortez, Cortez has been running around saying that we have concentration camps at our border. Omar's running around saying that the United States doesn't live by liberty and freedom ideals, that somehow, in her mind, we're an evil, racist country. Presley's running around, I can't even remember what she said, and I don't even like giving her, she's just trying to tag on now to get her name elevated. Tlaib, she just runs around and covers for Omar. But anyway, so when you look, and here's the thing, it's interesting to see a progressive Democrat congresswoman who, like I said, originally came from countries whose governments, it's to see them come out and call America racist and all these things, and call America an oppressive country. It's just amazing to me. So let me do this. I'm going to go to the next break, and when I come back, I am going to read word for word what Trump's tweet was. I am going to do what the media will not do for you. I'm going to read it word for word. I'm not going to take bits and pieces and chop it up so I can call bits and pieces racist comments. I'm going to read the whole thing. and then we're going to go from there. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is America's Web Radio On Point with Victor.
The Docs for Patient Care Foundation is your way to join the fight and become a member of an organization created by doctors for patients dedicated to fighting for your healthcare freedom and preserving the doctor-patient relationship. Get a pen and paper. Write down www.docsforpatientcarefoundation.org. That's www.docsforpatientcarefoundation.org. Go to our site and please make a generous tax-deductible donation and join the fight today. Thank you.
45 years of experience is behind the most trusted name in auto transportation. Passport Transport, the first and finest today. That's why Passport Transport is the preferred auto transport for major auto manufacturers, concours, museums, tours, and collectors, and should be your choice from across the state to across the country. When you have the need, go to PassportTransport.com and enjoy the peace of mind referenced experience will give you. Passport Transport.
Get your pen and paper ready. If there's a move in your near future, I'm here to tell you that the folks I used and now recommend is Around Town Movers. Timothy and the guys recently moved me, and I am and was totally satisfied with a sometimes not so fun experience moving. Call Timothy at 770-378-4708 and make it a good move and a good experience. Around Town Movers for that local or cross-country move. Timothy, Around Town Movers, in my opinion, are the best. That's Around Town Movers. Call them.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to On Point with Victor. Look, folks, you know, the station owner here, he jumped in and he made a good point about Black Hawk Down. It's a good movie. It tells a good story. It'll infuriate you when you watch it because they, you know, even though it was Hollywood, they did a pretty good job depicting what our men and women did, what the mission was when we went to Somalia, why we went to Somalia, and then the men and women that were lost because Bill Clinton wouldn't release the backup that they needed, that power that they needed. You know, kind of what happened in Benghazi. If you don't know the story of Benghazi, go get the movie 13 Hours and watch that.
And Tonto's a friend.
Yes, and Tonto, yes.
Toronto.
Yes, that is correct. He's a friend of yours and will always be a friend of the station's. And in fact, I might have to have him on. And folks, if you don't know who Tonto is, go watch the movie 13 Hours. It's just a wonderful, excellent movie, and it really tells the story of Benghazi, which the media buried, and they really the truth really hasn't come out, at least not in the lamestream media, about what happened in Benghazi and the derelict of duty that is at the hands of Obama and Hillary Clinton. So, all right, I got off topic enough. Let me move on. So this is the tweet. Let me read this to you, folks. I'm going to read this word for word. This is what Donald Trump said, and I'm going to read it. And I want you guys to jump on. And if any of you out there, especially those of you who are my Democrat listeners, if you hear anything racist in this comment, if you're a Never Trumper, I want you to contact me right now through Facebook Live and tell me where the racist comment is in this statement. So this is what Trump tweeted. So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously are telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government needs to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how it's done. These places need your help badly. You can't get there fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements. Now, folks, I challenge any of you to find what is racist in that tweet. Do I need to define the word racism for you? Because there is a proper definition for racism. The definition has been bastardized over the last few years. But find me the racist comment in that statement. Let me break it down for you. The progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are complete and total catastrophes, the worst, most corrupt, inept in the world, if they have a functioning government at all. What is wrong with that statement? That is the truth. Go look at Somalia's history, where Omar is from. Go look at the history of Iran and some of these other countries where Talib is from, or her heritage is, but especially Omar, because Omar is kind of leading the charge with all of this. And of course Cortez, her family's from Venezuela. If you think Venezuela has a functioning government, then oh man, you need to explain it to me. But there was nothing racist in that comment. Those are facts. They are from, or they have heritage of countries who have total inept governments, if they have a functioning government at all. So nothing wrong with that part of the statement. And then he went on to say, now those people, these congresswomen who are from countries, or fled, or are from, or had ties to countries like that, now they're loudly and viciously, because they call you, if you're a supporter, if you don't support them, then you're a racist. So they're viciously telling us, we the people, and that we should run our governments how they say we should run our governments. But I don't hear them, and this is what Trump meant. Trump said, why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken, crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how it's done. This is the whole statement. This is what you're not hearing in the media. Where's the racism there? You know, folks, for years we had bumper stickers that said, America, love it or leave it. No one was called racist for having that bumper sticker, because Americanism is something special. American culture is something special. And America, you're free to leave. There are countries where you can't do that. So there, over the years, there's always been a saying here: if you don't like it, if you don't love it, leave it. Or Delta's ready when you are. Southwest is ready when you are. They don't even charge for your checked baggage. All of these sayings have been around. Many of you probably have even said it at times. But now all of a sudden, because Donald Trump is president and the media doesn't like him, and the Never Trumpers don't like him, and the establishment doesn't like him, now it's supposed to be racist. This is the stuff that ticks me off, people. And this is when I say, stop being married to the letter D. Stop being married to the letter R. Stop letting your emotions rule your day, and look at the substance of what's being said. Look at the whole statement. Look at the history of what's being talked about, and then you'll make a good decision, and you'll have positive effects from doing this, folks. It's easy to be negative, folks. It's easy to hear bits and pieces and get angry. It is easy to be mad all day long and to blame someone else for your plight, or to blame someone else because you don't feel good. It's hard to be positive, ladies and gentlemen, but your life will be better if you do it. If you take the emotions and stop reacting with emotions, and step back and start looking at some positive things, and read things for yourself, your life is going to be better. So let me go on. So again, he ended that statement about, why don't you go back and help the countries that you're from with, and then come back here and show us how it's done. Folks, that's really is an awesome statement. Not one time. Now, I've heard Omar, I've heard Cortez tell me that America has concentration camps, which, as someone who has Jewish heritage, that really pisses me off. I've heard Omar call friends of mine racist. because we don't agree with her. I'm hearing, my goodness, Ayanna Pressley, representative from Massachusetts, just stood on somewhere yesterday, it may have been on the floor of the House, I don't remember where she was, and said that we don't need brown faces unless they're giving her message. We don't need black faces unless we're giving her message. Folks, that is getting in the lines of racism. You want something racist? You want a racist comment? Go look up what Representative Priestley said about brown faces and black faces. That ought to be making the news, but it won't. They're going to hide it. But go look it up and see if you can find it. You better go find it before they scrape it off Google and off YouTube. But she sat there and said, we don't need any more brown faces. Basically what she's saying is we don't need brown faces if they don't agree with her. We don't need black faces if they don't agree with her. I'm just, you know what? I'm just going to not even talk about that anymore because you need to go look that up for yourself. But that is the point that this statement is making. And this is the point that I take from it. Oh, Cortez talks about concentration camps. Omar calls us racist. Priestley's calling us racist, and Tlaib is doing the same. When was the last time any of these four women, any of this squad, any of these whatever they're calling themselves today, I call them the social radicals of the left, when have you seen them stand up and say, we got to do something for my people in Somalia? How can we go help that tyrannical government? You know, the one in Somalia that really does oppress people, the one in Somalia that really does enslave people, the one in Somalia that really did kill people and wouldn't let them leave their country. You know, that kind of government. When have you heard Cortez stand up and say, there are people starving in Venezuela? There are people that can't get medicine in Venezuela. When was the last time Cortez said, how can we help Venezuela? Nope. And I'm not just saying going up and giving fodder to, we got to help Venezuela. I mean, when was the last time they specifically called out the current governments of Somalia, the current governments of Venezuela, and any other socialist communist government? They haven't done it, folks. They can't bring themselves to do it. They're too busy bashing the United States. They're too busy trying to convince you that America is such a bad, bad place. So when Donald Trump says, why don't you go back and fix your broken, crime-infested country and then come back and show us how it's done? That's pretty darn brilliant to me, if you ask me. Because if you got all the answers, Omar, if you got all the answers, Tlaib, if you've got all the answers, Cortez, if you've got all the answers, Presley, then go help the countries that really need it and then come back and then tell us how it's done. Show us your results. And then maybe we'll listen to you. And then he ends with, I'm sure Nancy Pelosi would be very happy and quickly work out free travel arrangements. Look, that's pretty darn funny because Donald Trump knows that there's a huge divide between Pelosi and the establishment Democrats and the Omars, the Tlaibs, the Presleys, and the Cortezes. There's a divide there. There's a battle going on. The media's trying to hide it. But Donald Trump knows it's there. And that's why he made that comment. Pelosi has made no, she tries to hide it, but we've all seen her responses to Cortez and to that group. She doesn't like them. And we saw Cortez fire back in all... She basically called her own leadership a racist. I mean, that's pretty funny. You got to go back and look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so that's what Trump was pointing out. So, folks, why I said earlier that we're going to find out why I think Trump is as a marketing and branding genius is getting to this point about the Democrats in being in unity. So we're going to take our next break, and I'm going to pick up on that when we get back. So you're tuned into On Point with Victor. Don't go away. This is America's Web Radio. We'll be right back.
Perhaps you are struggling to cope with the disease of addiction. If not, you probably know a family member or friend that needs help in battling the cravings and the personal and professional damage done by the effects of drugs or alcohol. Get a pen and paper and be ready to write down the following. These are the issues that the trained staff at the Atlanta Healing Center address and treat every day. Their doctors and counselors with over 40 years of practice in the field of addiction can treat the suffering individual in a thoughtful, compassionate, and experienced manner and guide him or her along the path to recovery. So call 770-696-9862 and speak to a knowledgeable staff member about how you or your loved one can be helped to enjoy a better and healthier life. More information is also available on the website at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
This is Ron Camacho, host of the Business Hour, on Fridays from 10 to 11 a.m. Join me as I talk with passionate professionals on a program that profiles the best businesses, business professionals, business practices, and fascinating individuals to get an insider view of how America works. 10 to 11 a.m. on America's Web Radio.
This is Dr. Susan Blank, Medical Director for the Atlanta Healing Center. Our team is able to offer a multitude of treatment options such as quantitative EEG, also known as brain mapping, hormonal and nutritional assessments, neuropsychological testing, and cognitive therapy, along with traditional 12-step facilitation. And we can even offer you, if appropriate, a gentle medically managed detox. Please contact us at 770-696-9862.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Hey, we're back, folks. You're listening to Victor Armendariz, and I'm doing that again because I had a listener that chimed in and was laughing at me for using the accent and rolling the R's. Folks, you too can roll your R's. You just got to practice. So just a couple of things here. I'm getting a lot of listeners chiming in. Look, I thank you so much for listening, guys. I have such great listeners out there, and we've been adding listeners every week. This show is growing so much, and it's because of you guys. I can't thank you enough. I really, really, really can't. I also am so thrilled today because my nephews are listening, and they're a couple of really, really funny kids. I like to think that I raised them well because they all drive trucks and consider themselves Mexi-necks. And it's really funny. In fact, one of them is begging me to try and sell his R1 on air. We have sponsors that pay for this stuff, and he's trying to get free advertising on air, so it is kind of funny. For any of you motorcycle listeners out there, you just contact me, and we can talk about my nephew's R1. I had a listener that chimed in with a great new word, and I just can't say it on the air, but I might put it out on Facebook. So if you don't follow me, find me on Facebook, Victor Armendariz. If you are on Instagram, follow me, Radio Victor. Look me up, Radio Victor. This is a great thing that a listener said, and I want to use it, but I don't want to put it on the air and get myself in trouble. But I might send it out on Instagram and Twitter, which is also Radio Victor, and on Facebook. So follow me. If you don't follow me, you'll get a kick out of this. So I also had another listener chime in, and this is a very, very good point. This listener made the point that he could actually, and this is what the point was, he could understand if the Socialist Quartet, the Socialist Radical Quartet, Omar, Cortez, Tlaib, and Presley, he could understand if they were out there saying, we love this country afforded us so much, this country has given us such opportunity to get where we are. Now, we disagree with Trump, but we love this country, and this country is good because of this. It's good because of this. It's great because of this. Then he said he might be able to understand if they had disagreements with Trump. Folks, that's a great point. When was the last time that any of these four, when was the last time, for that matter, when was the last time any Democrat running for president today, when was the last time they stopped and said how great this country is? When was the last time? No, you're not going to hear that. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guy running for president of the United States by the name of de Blasio who said America was never great, and he got applause for it. Folks, that's a problem, and that's what I mean about today's Democrat Party, and that's why I said if you're married to the letter D, you got to walk away. You've got to walk away. And again, I'm not telling you you've got to run in the arms of the Republicans, because boy, do I have problems with the establishment Republicans, especially you Republicans out there that are not getting behind Trump right now are really, really doing a disservice to the American people. And you're doing disservice to the people who elected you. But that's a whole nother show that I could go off on. But I'm going to get back to this a little bit. But again, thank you to all the listeners. And just to finish up on, I already had a comment coming in of people telling me, listeners saying, oh my gosh, I did not know that was the full statement. Because the media is chopping it up, and the media is trying to pull out. I'm losing my voice, folks, so bear with me. But the media is trying to pull out and dissect different things that Trump says so they can call it racist, and they can get everybody up in a racist hoopla, and then they get Republicans, because they know the weak-kneed, spineless Republican establishment is going to jump on board with this whole racist crap because they want to be friends with the media, and they're afraid to stand with Trump, which is ridiculous, because if they'd read the whole comment and stop listening to the lamestream media, then they could get behind Trump, and boy, it would be for the betterment of we the people. So that part I had to get off my chest, because it's really frustrating that I have listeners to listen to my show right now who did not know the full statement that Trump made. And again, the challenge is out there. Any of you, find me the racist comment that in Trump's tweet. Find it, because you won't. In fact, if you can find a racist comment in that statement that Trump made, I will bring you in as a guest to my show to sit one-on-one with me, and we'll have a discussion about it. So go ahead, see if you can do it. You email me, GM at, well, you're not going to email me, you're going to email the GM, but email GM at americaswebradio.com, GM at americaswebradio.com, or find me on Instagram, Radio Victor, and send me the message. Find me on Facebook and send me a message. If you find a racist comment or think you have one, I will bring you into the show. You can sit here in the studio with me, and we'll talk about it. We'll have a debate. So let me move on a little bit. So like I said, Trump addressed facts. He addressed the facts that some of these congresswomen that are creating this big stink are from or have heritage to countries that are an absolute crap hole. I'm just going to say it. He brought that to light. He brought to light the division between the Democrats and this radical left quartet. Now, folks, those of you out there who think that or buying into the narrative that Trump just united the Democrat Party and he just hurt himself. Let me tell you something. Trump purposely, in my opinion, is trying to reunite the Democrat Party, because by doing so, he's defining the Democrat Party as the socialist radicals that they are. Look, Omar, Cortez, Tlaib, and Presley are getting all the attention. They've got more followers than Pelosi, and they get more media attention than Pelosi. They get more media attention than the candidates for president. So who's running the Democrat Party? The far, far radical socialist left. That is Cortez, that is Tlaib, that is Omar, that is Presley. So by doing what Trump did with his tweet and trying to unite that socialist left train with the establishment train that's trying to deny the socialist train, or they want to put the veil back on, he's bringing them together so the party's going to be defined as radical socialist. It's genius, folks. We're going into 2020. Trump doesn't want to have to run against the establishment wing and the so-called radical left wing. He wants to run against the whole big Democrat show, which is a push for socialism. Folks, listen to every Democrat running for president today. They want open borders. They want free health care. And by this, they want Medicare for all. They want to abolish private health care. Folks, if you don't believe me, go listen to Kamala Harris. Go listen to Booker. Go listen to Pocahontas. Go listen to the fake Hispanic O'Rourke. All of them, and de Blasio, all of them are running to abolish privatized health care. That means if you're working and you love your health care that your employer is providing, they want to deem it illegal. They will make all of that illegal. This is not hyperbole. This is coming out of the Democrat candidates running for president. So Donald Trump is trying to unite those factions and run against the radical left, which is what's happening. So for those of you out there who think that Donald Trump made a mistake, you're sadly mistaken. And as a few days go by, and people start to hear the truth, like my listeners, you guys out there heard the truth about the statement today, you're going to see the genius that is the branding that is Trump. Putting the Democrat Party together and having them have to run under this socialism, radicalism that they're pushing, it's pure genius. How great is it to go into 2020 with a fantastic economy, the stock market hitting 27,000, the lowest black unemployment rate in history, the lowest Hispanic unemployment rate in history. I mean, folks, we are. We got a special guest.
One quick comment, Victor. The lowest female unemployment rate in over 65 years reported today.
All right, so today, the lowest female unemployment rate in 60 years. So add that to the checklist. If you've got that on your side, which Donald Trump does, and you're running against Omar, Cortez, Tlaib, and Presley, Pelosi, and the rest of that Democrat socialist bunch, what are they for? They're for open borders. They're for getting rid of your private health care. They're for getting rid of employment health care. They're for, did I mention open borders? I mean, folks, they're for higher taxes. They're for a so-called Green Deal that's going to shut down the coal industry. They're for shutting down the fossil fuels in general. Folks, what side do you want to be on? I mean, you really ask yourself the question. Because that's where we're headed. So that's why I say Trump has branding genius in him, because he's showing the Democrat Party for what it is, and by uniting them and making the Democrats come to the defense of Cortez, who said we have concentration camps, making the Democrats come to the defense of Omar, who, my goodness, go look at some of the things that Omar said. She has praised Al-Qaeda. She has said Americans killed innocent people in Somalia willy-nilly. She has, okay, let me tell you some of the things Omar has said. Here's a comment. Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. Folks, she tweeted that out in 2012, and I didn't hear anybody having a problem with that. Here's what she told some Jewish voters in her home state when she was running. This was right before she was elected. The boycott of Israel was counteractive and not helpful to getting to a two-state solution. That's what she said when she was campaigning. And as soon as she was elected, folks, as soon as she was elected, this was the statement from her campaign. Ilhan Omar believes in and supports the BDS movement. You don't know what BDS? You're asking, Victor, please explain. I would love to explain this to you. The BDS movement is the boycott, divestment, sanctions movements against Israel. So the statement came out. Ilhan Omar believes in this and supports the BDS movement, the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against Israel, and has fought to make sure people's right to support it isn't criminalized. She made that quote, folks, to the Muslim Girl magazine publication. It doesn't stop there. Omar described acts of terrorism as, it was described to her, and she agrees with this, that actions of terrorism as a reaction to our involvement in other people's affair. So in the wake of the brutal Al-Shahib attack on the Kenyan shopping mall, if you don't know about that, go look it up. We had the Al-Shabaab attack. These were terrorists, went into a Kenyan shopping mall and killed 70 people, wounded 200 more. When that happened, she came out and blamed the United States. Basically, blamed the United States. Said the United States is to blame. Terrorism is just a reaction for what the United States does. I mean, these are just some of the ridiculous things that has come out from Omar. So what Donald Trump has done is he's made the Democrat establishment come to the support of this radicalism that is Omar, that is Cortez, that is Tlaib, that is Presley. So, folks, chew on that for a while. Thank you so much for listening. We are going to end the show here. Tune in next week. We'll have much more show, and we will discuss many more topics. But, folks, chew on what I told you today. Stay tuned, though. Locked and Loaded with Roger B. is coming up. You're listening to America's Web Radio. This has been On Point with Victor.
Get your pin.